Hello, my name is Tanya. I'm a graphic designer from Russia, and today I want to talk about skills, procrastilearning, and fantasy self development, so to speak. I really like acquiring skills. It's a hobby of its own, and sometimes the skills that I'm acquiring are completely useless. I'm just interested to know how things are done, like making things out of clay, weaving, wood carving. I can't do any of those, by the way, but I really like skills. Sometimes I'm just like, I really want to learn to ride a motorcycle, and I have no desire to ever ride one for real. I'm afraid of those things, but I want to know how it's done. Um, some skills, like in my childhood, they were not optional for me. All of my cousins and myself, we were taught how to knit because knitting is something that is supposed to help your brain develop because of finger movements and such. And crochet, I picked up myself from a book in my teens. Everybody should know how to swim, how to ride a bicycle, how to do some basic cooking, basic clothes mending, all those things. Foreign languages are another thing that it's it's a knowledge-based skill and it's fun to learn, and I've tried learning, well, basically English wasn't optional, I had to. And then I tried learning German and French and Spanish and Italian. I've spent 6 months learning Czech in Czech Republic, in Prague. It was great. I remember very little Czech, but it was fun. And a lot of my skills are music related. I like singing. I took classical guitar lessons, I took drums lessons, I took a couple of piano lessons. I owned a synthesizer, but I never really learned to play. I owned a skateboard and a longboard, and I would imagine myself being so free and my hair would blow in the wind and all that. Never learned to do that. I'm really bad at body things like dancing. It doesn't work for me, but I tried. And it looks like I keep trying to teach myself how to be a real human being. And I'm trying to find something that will fulfill me finally. And maybe I'm collecting skills for my fantasy self that doesn't exist and never will. There's a popular trope in Russia. I'm not sure about English speaking literature, but in Russian romantic books, it's a popular trope that somebody dies or is kidnapped from a different dimension and they kind of wake up in a different body, sometimes in their own body, but they have all those skills that they brought from Earth. And a lot of women start making fancy soaps and survive by making fancy soaps in something that looks like medieval times. It's really funny if you think about it. But it seems like I'm acquiring those skills that I might need in a different life. A lot of my skills are music related, and my desires were kind of suppressed for a long time. But now, in hindsight, I know what happened. I really wanted to be a rock star growing up, and I was gifted in the way that I wrote poetry. It wasn't even that bad, I think, but I was and still am musically illiterate, even though I did play a classical guitar for a long time. I just didn't learn any of the science behind it. And I really wanted to be in a band. I wanted to perform on stage. I would do well in a musical theater because theater was also something that I really wanted to do. But I wasn't allowed any of that because that's not a real job. And being a good girl, I kind of followed what my parents thought was better for me. Now I know they were wrong, but Now it's too late for me, I think, because I'm almost 40 and a bit too late to start a band, I think. But that's what I wanted. So I had classical singing, classical guitar, um, and then I picked up a ukulele, and then my world changed because now suddenly I could accompany myself with something. I learned to play drums, and that was its own fun thing because it's really therapeutic. But one of the things that I picked up because I wanted to be in a band is photography. I was always friends with musicians because I wanted to be one of them, I wanted to belong there, and I tried to make myself useful. And the best way at the time was pick up a camera and take pictures on concerts. That's not an easy thing to do when you're starting photography because it's one of the most difficult genres in photography, but somehow I taught myself to do it. I was very bad. So I was friends with a lot of musicians and I wanted to be one of them. And I got into design because of music. I always say that, well, I got into design through music because I was taking those pictures. I thought of myself as a photographer and I started taking other types of pictures. And then I got offered a job as a photographer, and it was a company that sold things, and I was taking product pictures. And then I started doing some graphic design because it was also a skill that I could pick up. And later I kind of became a designer, and then I studied design for a couple of years, and here I am. Uh, Later I tried to move into illustration, and now I'm kind of learning this video editing thing, and it feels like I haven't found what feels true yet. I haven't filled the hole that was left when I kind of rejected the world of musical theater for myself. And I think that collecting skills, as well as any other sort of collecting things, must be addressing a problem that's inside. And I also tend to learn to do things and spend a lot of time learning and a lot of money on courses that I never seem to follow to the end. And it's called procrastilearning. So I cannot start making something and taking myself seriously until I've earned a piece of paper that says that I finished a course. And it's it's a problem because you don't allow yourself to actually live. I think it's fear and feeling of inadequacy and all those things, and being afraid of projection and failure. A lot of it, I think, is about building this fantasy self for a fantasy world where I would perform on stage, standing on a skateboard with a guitar and performing wonderful theatrical things. And this life never happened for me because I was too busy learning skills that I don't actually even need. Because what I should have done if I wanted to be a real rock star, I should have started a band. I should have started looking for people who are willing to try being in a band with me. Maybe someone who could do music if I could do lyrics, or maybe someone who could do both but didn't want to perform on stage, and maybe someone who was good at playing music but bad at singing. It happens all the time. You can find a band, but it requires talking to people, networking, all those scary things. And it's important to do this digging to figure out other things that need to be done in order for me to fulfill some aspiration. And am I willing to actually do those things? If the answer is no, then you can move on and do other things. And what's stopping me from becoming a rock star is very obvious right now, but I kind of gave up on that dream a long time ago. In order to become an illustrator, which I wanted to do, you not only have to work on your craft and kind of get better at actually drawing and thinking and imagining things, but you also have to network, talk to people, get yourself out there, work on a portfolio, and put yourself at risk of being rejected by people. And thinking those things through might be useful, I think. Thank you for watching, and now I'm going to go and work on my quilt. Bye for now.